Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is James here with Crypto Quick Start. I wanted to shoot a video because we're once again falling, which is, I think, expected by a lot of people. So I posted this chart. It's got several things on it, but I posted an updated version of this yesterday to my private group, and I was showing them how, back in the last 51-day period, we had this 15 days where we basically went down, down, down. We had a little mini rally, and then we continued going down. And so we were actually, if you zoom in, we were experiencing a bit of a rally yesterday, and that's what I was pointing out, and I expected it to fall again, and it is. And that was more gut, intuition than technical analysis, so it's not like I'm patting myself on the back. It's just kind of what I thought would happen. I think at some point in this period, we're probably going to go back up and test the trend line. I don't know how low we'll go before we do it, but I don't expect it will break through. I think what's happening is, yes, it's technical analysis, but I also think there's a lot of manipulation going on. If you look at this thing, we've got these 51-day periods, and these are approximate. They're 51 days exactly, but, if you look at this one, it didn't end exactly at 51 days. It didn't immediately rally. If you look at this one, it had a rally in between there and then kept going down, etc. But these are just kind of, ballparks. So what I'm thinking is going to happen, I think there's two different possibilities that I foresee happening. One is we're going to drop these 51 days and we're going to end up testing a new low somewhere around $5,000. All right, that's my guess. And if you look, if we drop 42%, which is what we dropped last time, if we drop 42% from that test of the $8,500 level, it's going to put us down around $4,900, which is, a lot of people have been calling for $5,000 bottom this year. But I don't necessarily think that's it. I'm going to make a bullish case. I'm going to make a bearish case. So the bearish case is I think it might go down to 5,000, 4,900, go back up, test this line again, and then go ahead and do another drop of 40 to 45%, which would put us down between 3,300 and like $3,300, $3,400, somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, if you look at it statistically, historically, if you're trying to go back and say, okay, this is just like 2014. And earlier this year, I was very anti-historical. I was like, history doesn't repeat itself, yada, yada, yada. But I think that history is repeating itself. And I became semi-convinced of this back in June. And I'm almost completely convinced of it now. History is repeating itself. Market cycles play out in generally the same way. In cryptocurrency, they just happen a lot faster than other markets. So I'm about 70-30, with 70 being bearish and 30 being bullish. At this point, I really think what's going to happen is that this is going to keep bleeding out, and it's going to end somewhere down around here and late November. That will be roughly 11 months from the highs, and it'll put us down 83 to 84%. And I just saw an article that kind of supports that. I was kind of bummed to see it because I'd like to be wrong, but there was an article, and zoom out so you can see this a little better. Basically, it was over on Market Watch. It's from one of the guys that works at Fundstrat, and he was kind of saying the same thing, that if we do a full 84% retracement, which is what we did in 2014, we're going to see a low of around $3,500. And if I zoom in on this chart that they posted, you can kind of see here what he's got going on. He's got a log chart here, so he's got the trend line drawing up, and that matches up with the trend line down around 3250 or 30. I think it's a typo. 3250 should be 3520. 84% correction. So they're kind of saying the same thing. All right, so that's the bearish cases. We're going to go down there, and that'll be the bottom. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people are confused about this, and they think that once we hit a bottom, we're suddenly going to go back up to all-time highs. If you go over and look at CoinMarketCap, the reality is the market bottomed out. The last bear market bottomed out in January of 2015. It did not reach the old highs until February of 2017, which was 25 months later. And it didn't, that's when it reached the old highs. And then it finally topped out, obviously, in December of 2017, almost 3 years later. So, if my price alerts are going off. I set those up months ago, but if that happens, if history repeats itself, if we have to wait 3 years for new highs, or just say 2 years to get back to our old highs, that means we won't hit old highs until late 2020. And this is part of the bearish case. If you look at it historically, the big parabolic climbs have happened after the Bitcoin mining reward has been cut in half. Well, if you're looking at this and you know anything about this, the next scheduled time for the Bitcoin mining rewards to be cut in half, you guessed it, 2020. All right. So I do think it's entirely feasible that we will not see another, climb to the $20,000 level until 2020. That's the bearish case. Okay. Now the bullish case is this: these ETFs got pushed back, and that's what caused this, price to completely fall apart here. Some people are going to say it was technical analysis. That's bullshit. I believe that cryptocurrency is 95% technical analysis. Price movements are based on technical analysis, but I also think there's that 5% of sentiment that overpowers the technicals. And the reality is, we had broken out of this long-term downtrend. We were looking pretty healthy. We had several closes above that line. And I didn't buy any crypto when this happened because I was still pretty skeptical. I still felt like somebody was going to, yank the carpet out from under us. I felt like what they were doing was some of these big players letting people open up these long positions. I felt like there was going to be something that was going to yank this back down. And of course, the ETF decision got delayed, and it just look what's happened. We've dropped 30-35%, whatever it is. Let's see, we dropped 26% from this level right here, not even from the top. All right, so that's a huge drop, obviously. And if you look at this 51-day period, it's going to end right around the 13th of September. Okay, so here's what I'm kind of picturing. I'm picturing this ending down around that, $5,000 level, and then there's going to be about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, about 2.5 weeks till September 30th, which is the next date for the ETF. So the bullish case is these guys are getting this low. These manipulators are getting this as low as they can here, so that when the ETFs are approved, if they're approved, I don't think they're going to be approved, to be honest with you. Not in September. I think it's likely they're just going to get delayed again, and probably until 2019. But maybe they do get approved. We'll see this, and then right around September, we'll start our new bull market. Right, we'll go up. And Tom Lee, if you look over this article, in this very same article, this is from one of the guys that works at Fundstrat, but Tom Lee, of course, is also part of Fundstrat and managing partner. He still says that he thinks $25,000 is going to happen this year. So here's the bullish case. All right, if you look at the chart, if you look last year, where did this huge parabolic climb start? That climb started on November the 13th. Okay, and if you go back a little further, right around here, you could even make the case that it started back here, right? Because we just had this little mini, wasn't a full correction. It was just like, what did this last? A few days, a couple of days. So if you want to make the argument that the market started to go parabolic here, you could. And guess what? That's September the 15th. So from September the 15th, Bitcoin went from $3,200 to $19,800 roughly. What did I say the date was? September 15th? When does this 51-day period end? September 13th. So that's the bullish case. The bullish case is this will be our bottom, and we start going back up. And if the ETFs get approved, I think this right here will be nothing compared to what we see this time around. All right. So a lot of coincidences in there. You can draw your own conclusions from those, but that is pretty uncanny, right? We've got the bearish coincidence of, hey, look, we're playing out like the bear market of the past, and if we drop 51 days here and then go up here and then drop here, if it gets delayed and it shoves it back down, hey, look, we're going to be we could be down 84% just like 2014. That's the bearish coincidence. The bullish coincidence is, hey, look, if this could end, this could bottom out around $5,000 on September 13th. And if you look what happened last year on the 13th, we bottomed out. 14th was the last day we were dropping, and then on the 15th, the bull market went absolutely ape shit and rose from 3,200 to 19,800. So maybe our new low will be 5,000, and maybe we will start a new bull market here. If those ETFs get approved, I think we're going to see the single largest green candle we've ever seen on a daily chart. So all that being said, that's what I see happening. Like I said, right now I am 70% bearish, 30% bullish. I am not selling any of my hold coins. I've talked about this in past videos. I'm going to reiterate it now. I'm not going to sell any of the hold coins because at this point I'm already down 70 freaking percent on my portfolio, or maybe 65%, whatever it is, 60, 70%. It varies day by day. I think it's closer to 70 now because the alts are taking such a beating. So at this point, I'm just barely over break even with what I have invested, and I put money in that I could afford to lose, so there's no reason for me to panic and pull it out. If it goes down, it's going to suck, but I still believe in the long-term potential of this, so that's why I am not taking it out. But I'm also not putting money in. I'm not buying Bitcoin at $6,000. It's just not going to happen. And I'll be totally transparent and tell you I ain't buying at $5,000 either. I'm just not. I already have as much in there as I feel comfortable putting in there. The only way that I would put more money into this market is if we get down to that $3,500 Bitcoin level. At those levels, I would feel comfortable go ahead and dipping into my savings and putting some of my savings in the crypto, because the risk reward ratio would just be so crazy, right? And I would probably even gamble a little bit and put in more than I could, quote unquote, afford to lose. The reality is, guys, I'm not going to get off on a tangent on this, but people talk about what you can afford to lose and what you can't afford to lose. The reality is it's just money. Even if you go completely broke, you can always start over. I'm not saying that I suggest you do that, but I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I went bankrupt in the past and it sucked. I just had to start over. So I'm not really that worried about it. But I'm not willing to risk more money until it gets down to that $3,500 level. If it goes to 5 and then shoots up and I miss it, that's cool. I've got enough money in there. All right. So with all that being said, please remember I'm just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not an investment advisor. And you should always seek professional investment advice before making any type of investment. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check the description for a link, and you can come hang out with myself and 3,700 other cryptocurrency enthusiasts. I hope to see you there.